Hey guys, welcome to another video of Developer Banu. In this video, we are going to talk about having multiple SSH keys from in the same server or system, whatever your local machine is. You may have this scenario where you may have different accounts. Let's say in GitHub, for example. So I have this is my official account, Developer Banu. And there is other personal account over here, so Dev B Prakash. So let's say these are two of my GitHub accounts. So if I use SSH key from my machine to one of these accounts, the same SSH key will not work in the other account actually. So if Developer Banu is already registered and like set up with the SSH key, the same key will not be available for this one. Sometimes we will have to maintain two different SSH keys. So that is what exactly we are going to discuss today. And before that, actually, I also want to demonstrate one more thing. If the domain is different, so for example, in this case, both of them are from github.com. Developer Banu is from GitHub and Dev B Prakash is also from GitHub. So in this case, domain is same, right? So for example, if the domain is different, so one of the accounts is in github.com and the other account is in gitlab.com. In this case, the same SSH key will work. That is possible, and I want to show you how that works. But according to actual industrial standards, let's say that is not recommended. Okay, that is not the best practice. The inconvenience comes in the management when you use the same SSH key for multiple domains like this. Okay, let's try to work with this thing now. So firstly, I will try to demonstrate this same SSH key in GitHub and GitLab. Let's come back here. This is my virtual machine. This is actually like a fresh setup. If I go to if you look at here, there is no SSH keys or like configurations or known hosts or whatever it may be. This is completely fresh installation. Even if you look at the authorized keys, that is actually empty file basically. So there is nothing inside it. Let me just clear the screen and create a key. So I just want to use the default. So I don't want to put any arguments over here. SSH keygen default. So I don't want to put any passwords or anything. So now we have ID. Okay, this is the ID. Now we have to put the public key into the SSH settings in my GitHub. I want to put it into this one, new SSH key. You can just click it here. So if you want to navigate to this file, you can just go to your profile picture on the top right corner. If you click on that, you will find an option called settings in the sidebar here. So if you click on the settings, you'll get to your profile settings first, and if you can choose the SSH and GPG keys on the left sidebar. If you go there, you will have this. And now on the right corner, you can see new SSH key. You can just click that button and I can just copy the public key over here. So I'll come back and I'll just cat this out for now. .pub. So don't even by mistake, don't put your private keys in the internet. Okay, I've just copied this and I'm back, pasted. So I just want to call it first and I've added the SSH key. Okay, so this is set up already. This setup is done and I want to add the same thing over here. So in case of GitLab, if you're using GitLab, you can just go to the top left corner. You will see your profile picture. So if you click there, you can go to preferences. In preferences, you will see something called SSH keys. You can click that and you are here again. Okay, so if you want to add the new one, add new key button is already available here. So you can just click that and you can just paste the same key. So for the title, let's just say another first. So this is a temporary SSH key. I don't want to have an expiration. It doesn't even matter actually. So I'm just gonna add this key. So this is added over here and it's already added in the GitHub and also GitLab. Alright, so let's try to create a repository and try to pull something. So let's say SSH test over here. And Developer Banu SSH test, that is fine. Private, yeah, that doesn't even matter. So I don't want any readme over here. I'm just creating a empty project. So I have an empty project in the GitLab and let's go back to GitHub. Okay, so SSH is already available. Now I just want to come here and create a new repository. Let's say SSH test 2. This is SSH test and this one is SSH test 2. Okay, fine. I don't have to change anything else here. This is temporary. Yeah, create repository. All right, so let's come back here and in fact I just want to keep this SSH folder as it is. I don't want to like come out of it because we will come back here multiple times. So what I'll do is, this is just for my convenience, I'll open another instance. Let me create a new file. Let me just clear the screen. Now I'll create a new folder, projects. Okay. And in this, let me just create test SSH for 1 and test SSH 2. So one is for GitLab and one is for GitHub. So both of them we will be using the same SSH key for both of them, right? So let's try to open SSH and I'm just touching a new file here. Let's say test.txt, something like that. And I also want to create, 1 second, let me just git init here. I'll just git init and so I can just use this part. Yep. Let me just see the status. One file is in the untracked files. So let me just add that. And now if you see, this file is in the changes to be committed. If you try to commit now, you will get a warning actually, because like your username and email are not yet set up in this server if you're doing it for the first time. Let's try to do that once. Initial commit, let's say that. Enter. Fine. I think it's already set up in my system, but it's generally, you will get a small prompt to add your email and username. But yeah, the commit is already over. Now let's come back to SSH 2. So there's nothing here. So I want to touch text2.txt, something like that. Git init. So SSH 2 is in, where is it? Fine, that's fine. So what we have done is like we have added SSH test in 2 and 2 in test basically. So we'll see. All right. So what we will do is the test SSH 2, right? So this one is fresh, I think. Yeah. So this one we will do what? Where is it? Yeah, we will add this remote. Okay. Look at the status. All right. Commit. Let's call it initial commit 2. So where is this going? This is going into the GitLab, right? So initial commit to GitLab. Let's say that. Okay. Now push it here. Origin master. Yes. Okay. So that's working. My local code is now pushed into GitLab. Let's try GitHub again. So GitHub is in test SSH, right? So right, let me just see the status. Okay, nothing to commit. Yes, please. Right, so if you refresh, text is already, it's available. So the push is working. Basically, like both of these things are connected. There are no conflicts basically in the SSH keys that we are using. I mean, like it's not the keys, it's the one single key that we are using for both of these accounts. So let me try to do something else. In test SSH, I wanna open this and type something. This is some sample change, something like that, right? Git commit, add message, some changes, git push. Right, now it's gone. Yeah, some changes already, so we have that. This is some sample change. Fine. Now what we'll do is let's go back to SSH2 and now vi. This is some random change. This is supposed to go into GitLab using the same SSH key as GitHub. Okay, let's commit. Some changes into GitLab. Push. There we go. So if I come back to GitHub and refresh this, you should be able to see the change over here. Some changes into GitLab. So if I open this one, you'll see this is some random change. This is supposed to go into GitLab using the same SSH key as GitHub. So that's all. So basically now what we have done is, you are using the same SSH key. We have connected two different repositories which are in two different domains completely. One is in GitHub and one is in GitLab. Now we will try to add the same SSH key into another account of GitHub. So the current SSH key is already connected to my dev B Prakash account. Now what I'll try to do is, I'll go back here in developer Banu. In this account, I will try to add the same SSH key which I have used in the other GitHub account. So let me just copy that from here again, right? And I think you will be able to see, you should see some warning. Let's call it yet another first, something like that. Okay, if I try to add this, yeah, key is already in use. So this is what I was talking about. Okay, so if you try to use the same SSH key again, it won't take it if it is in the same domain. So what we have to do is, in this case, you will have to create another SSH key actually. So let's try to do that. Let's come back here into SSH and again SSH keygen. Let me rename this one, because you have to rename this, because if you use the same suggested name, this will override the existing file, because the file is already present in the same directory with the same name. So let's say second, and I'll use the defaults. And if I just look at the contents over this in this directory, I have a public and private pair of the first one that we have already used, and another public and private pair of the second one, which I have created now. So this is what I can use in my new GitHub account. So I'll just pub. Let me just copy this one. Now if I try to create a new one, new SSH key, and do this, let me do second here, second, and add SSH key, and now it says you have successfully added the key second. So in this account, we already have a repository actually, so I'll just try to pull it, because I don't want to create another one again. Yeah, so this is my Node.js starter that I have created just two. So if you want to create a new Node.js application, you can just take this as the foundation, something like that, and build it from there basically. So that's what I was trying to do with this repo. I'll try to SSH clone this. I've copied it, and let me come back here and git clone. And if I try to clone this, so now you don't see any problem, but if you try to commit anything, that is when you see actual issues. So let me just go into Node.js starter, and let's just try to do something like maybe touch sample. So if you want to see the status, you can just see it's in here, right? I'll add the file, and I'll try to commit this one. Added a sample file for demo, something like that. Enter, and let me try to push it. Yeah, see, permission to develop a Banu Node.js starter get denied to dev B Prakash. Could not read from remote repository. Please make sure you have the correct access rights. So basically, you don't have permission to do this. In that case, what you have to do is you have to create another configuration file to maintain all these SSH keys. In that configuration file, what you will actually mention is this SSH key is for this domain or this account, and this SSH key is for this account. So you will just you can just separate all these SSH keys based on the accounts and whatnot. All right, so let's do that now. Okay, go to your SSH directory. The configuration file should be in this folder only. So let me just create a simple file config. Okay, just call it config. Yeah, in this file you can just put firstly we'll just put a host. So this is host is nothing but your like whatever name you want to give it. So it's your personal name, so you can give whatever your name you want. Just make sure it's different from, like, if you have multiple hosts, just make sure they all have different names. That's it. That's the only condition that you have to follow. So let's say github.com. Let me put hyphen here and developer Banu, and now host name will be github.com. So it's the basic domain. You can just put the domain, you don't have to do anything over here. So host name github.com and the identity file. Okay, identity file will be .ssh/id second. So second was for my developer Banu account, right? Use the private key here and the username. So in this account my username is developer Banu. So that is done, and let me configure the other account. It's the same thing actually. Let me just copy this part. Okay, now this part is and if I come here, GitHub is the same thing, it's the same domain. I just have to change this name. So let me just go back here and see LL. So this is what I need. So that's all you have to do. So just to make sure, I just wanna print this out because I wanna look at it for reference actually. So this is what we have created. The file name is config. Just remember that. So let's come back here, and actually you have to do something else in this case that comes from cloning actually. You have to reclone it, because however you cannot make any changes. You cannot push it or pull or anything else. So there is no point of having this repository here. So you can just remove it. Let me just tell you why what I'm talking about. So if you look at the Git remote link, this link is connected to normal direct github.com, right? So what we need is github.com/developer Banu. So what I will do is I'll just remove this one. Let me come back here and let me delete this directory for now, and let me go back to here, and copy the SSH again, and with a small change. Now what I'll do is I'll just make a small change here. So let me do git clone and paste it, and the change is, let me just come back here and let me just put developer Banu, because this is the host name. So the host name that we are talking about is actually this, that will basically match with this one actually. So if you look at here, host, this host will match this part. Okay, that is where we have the host, and this part should be exactly what we have here. So if I try to clone it now, this will work normally. And let me go and get in, and let me create another branch in this. Test some kind of test branch, because I don't want to change the master branch directly. However, it doesn't have any permission directly to change master branch. I mean push into the master branch. Let me create some kind of test branch. Now let's say touch some sample status. So you can see the untracked file sample over there. Git add. Now I'm committing it. Demonstration, something like that. And if you try to push it, you can see it's working normally. Now if I come back here, you can already see the test branch has recent push 3 seconds ago. So that is working. In the same way, if you want to make the changes in the other what do we have here? Test SSH, test SSH2, whatever other repositories that we are dealing with. It's better to do this before cloning any of them. It's better to plan them before. Otherwise, if you have to change it midway, you can just do something like this. Let me go into test SSH. So what is the remote link here? So this is coming from GitHub, right? So I want you to like properly observe this part. Okay, try to observe this part, because like this is some people will find it very useful actually. Let me go back here. So this is my devb Prakash, right? And the SSH test 2 is over here. Okay, let me keep this ready. And what I will do is I will change this origin link directly from here. So git remove origin. Sorry, what was that? Git remove origin. Sorry, yeah. There we go. Okay. Now if you want to look at that again, git remote --v, you won't find the origin link. Now you can add the new link, which is, again, you can just copy this as it is. And the only change that you have to do is put a hyphen over here and match it with this new host. This should work. Let me see. I'm hopeful. What? Wait, what? Okay, 1 second. Git remote add origin. There we go, right? So you just remember this. If you want to change the origin, you can just remove it using this git remote remove origin. This is the command. And if you want to add another one, you can just put git remote add origin. Okay. And I'm using my personal host that I have created in my configuration. Now, if I try to see, let me just see the status now. Okay. Touch a new file. Sample1, something like that. I'm adding it into the 1 second. Dot is needed. Yeah, so I'm adding it and I'm committing it. Sample file into GitHub. Okay, git push. And yeah, it worked. So if I come back here, this is different, right? This is developer Banu. Okay. Now if you come here, let me refresh this, and sample1 is available. So what we have done is basically we have created a config file that has all the usernames divided, like separated with the accounts basically. like not even accounts. The usernames are basically separated with the host names. So this is how we can use multiple SSH keys from the same system. This is needed if you have multiple accounts in the same platform. So if you have 2 accounts, one for your personal account and one for your work in the same like github.com, then you can use this kind of configuration to use them both. Just remember that when you are cloning, you have to use this first. By default it will be just github.com. Let me come back here and show you again. So by default it will be git@github.com. All you have to do is replace it with the full host that you have configured. This configuration will work for all the platforms out there. Okay, if it is little confusing, let me know in the comments. I'll try to clarify. Otherwise, yeah, this is what you have. All right. Yeah, I think that's all we have for today. I'll make some more videos on Git. Actually, I have some plans. So if you need something regarding Git, you can always put that down in the comments. I'll try to make some videos on them also. Okay. Yeah, that's all we have for today. All right. Bye-bye.